Despite all their recent success as a franchise, the Washington Commanders find themselves at a literal crossroads, as they are at the receiving end of a true ultimatum. Now, this is not coming from the DC mayor, Muriel Bowser, or his city council. This is not coming from Roger Goodell and the league office. And this is certainly not coming from any of the other 31 owners throughout the league. Nah, this demand comes from the highest office in the land and arguably the most powerful person on the planet, the President of these United States. Now, after the break, we'll discuss what this can mean not just for the Commanders, but for the future of pro sports as we know it in this country. This is my So, as it was reported through various media outlets earlier this summer, the president threatened to use his power to hold up an already agreed upon multi-billion-dollar new stadium and redevelopment project that will lead the way for the Commanders to return back to the DC area by 2030. Unless, of course, they agreed to rename themselves back to their highly controversial former team name of the Redskins. Now, this is a real divisive move that, as it has been in years past, would certainly be met with great pushback and outcries from not just Native American advocacy groups, but local community leaders and national corporate interests. On one hand, if they cave in and go back to using the Redskins name and likeness, I don't have to tell you how much of an utter PR disaster that this would be, not just for the Commanders, but the league as a whole. A real mess. On the other hand, such a move would be, in my mind, be the opening of Pandora's box, as it would be just the beginning of this administration exerting greater power and influence over the affairs and the daily operations of the other major sports leagues, like the NBA, the NHL, and Major League Baseball. Looking at this, one major area that this can be seen is through the government's use of antitrust exemptions that virtually all leagues have exclusively benefited from over the years. Unlike other major corporations, pro sports in this country historically have received exemptions and waivers from the government, specifically within the area of them selling their television rights to major broadcasters like ABC, CBS, NBC, and now, more recently, to streaming services like Amazon's Prime and Apple TV. Often these broadcast deals serve as the literal lifeblood of major pro sports leagues, as they can bring in billions upon billions of dollars in revenue each year. Without those exemptions, these leagues would be in strict violation of established antitrust laws and could find themselves at risk of incurring stiff penalties and fines. Even worse, they could be at great risk of possibly being broken up, just like any other major corporation could be. Now, it's under that notion that one could certainly see a scenario where if an individual team, let's say like the Commanders, or as we saw earlier in the year, the Dodgers, or a league as a whole refuses to play ball, no pun intended, it will place them within the literal crosshairs of this administration and could open them up to possible official actions being levied upon them, adversely affecting the manner for how they go about their everyday business. Much like as we have seen with other major universities, businesses, municipalities, and select individuals, this administration seeks to advance their agenda in nearly all aspects of American life and society. Pro sports would definitely not be exempt from that. Now, for me as a true sports fan, to say the prospect of all of this not being concerning would be a flat-out lie. I am indeed worried, and so should you. Now that we know of their potential, the question now remains, what can any of us do about this? Earlier this summer, we saw some level of pushback that came in the form of actual pro teams, like the Cleveland Guardians, for refusing to change their name back to the Indians, and the Los Angeles Dodgers for refusing to allow immigration enforcement operations to take place within their stadium's parking lot. However, for the Commanders, there wasn't much of any official response made towards the president's demands. perhaps as they mull over their options of what to do next. Now, given all of that, if you were the Commanders, if you were in their position, in their shoes, would you be willing to alienate your fan base and the rest of the league in order to get what you want, which is a new stadium? At the end of the day, should you even really give a damn? I don't know. Now, before I go, I just want to leave you with an image of the Commanders' proposed throwback uniform choice for later this season during a Week 9 matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. Clearly, it seems as if they are leaning towards what is in their best interest. And seeing that, now tell me if there's anything that we should be concerned with.